Welcome back to the show, everyone. DONFELIXX here, ready to dive into a topic that might just make you look at your pantry a little differently. Jane, you ready for some mind-bending food facts today?
Always ready, DONFELIXX. But mind-bending usually means I'm either going to be fascinated or slightly horrified. Given the topic petroleum in food, I'm leaning towards the latter. Are we talking about actual crude oil in our cereal?
Haha, not exactly crude oil, thankfully, but it's not far off in terms of origin. When we talk about petroleum in food, we're really talking about petrochemicals. These are chemical products derived from petroleum. Think of it like a massive tree, and crude oil is the trunk. From that trunk we get branches, and some of those branches lead to compounds that end up in our food system.
Okay, that's a much-needed clarification. So, not pouring gasoline on my salad, but synthetic compounds derived from the same source? That's still pretty wild to wrap my head around. Where do we even begin to find these things?
Let's start with the most obvious and perhaps colorful culprits. Artificial food dyes. You know those bright reds, blues, and yellows that make candies pop, or give soft drinks their vibrant hues? Many of these, like red 40, yellow 5, and blue 1, are synthesized from petroleum derivatives. They're literally coal tar dyes or azo dyes, with their chemical structure stemming from the same raw material as plastic or gasoline.
Oh wow, so all those colorful sprinkles on my kid's birthday cake? Or that bright orange cheese puff? Those are petroleum products? I mean, I knew they weren't natural, but petroleum? That feels industrial.
Exactly, Jane. And the reason food manufacturers use them is purely cosmetic. They make food more appealing, more consistent in color, and often disguise the fact that there might not be much natural color left after processing. It's about consumer perception and marketing.
And are these things safe? Because I've definitely heard concerns about artificial dyes, especially with kids.
That's a crucial question. Regulatory bodies like the FDA in the US deem them safe for consumption at approved levels. However, there's a significant amount of scientific literature and public debate, especially regarding their potential link to hyperactivity in children. The European Union, for example, requires a warning label on foods containing certain azo dyes, stating, "may have an adverse effect on activity and attention in children." That's a pretty strong stance compared to other regions.
So it's not a clear-cut yes they're fine or no they're terrible, it's more of a we think they're fine but some experts and countries have serious reservations. As a parent, that's not exactly reassuring.
Precisely. It highlights the complexities of food science and regulation. But dyes are just one aspect. Let's talk about preservatives. Many common antioxidants and preservatives, like BHA butylated hydroxyanisole and BHT butylated hydroxytoluene, are also derived from petroleum. They're used to prevent fats from becoming rancid and extend shelf life in cereals, snack foods, and even some processed meats.
Okay, so color and preservation. These are things we see in almost every packaged food item. Is there any way to avoid them if you're trying, Marie?
Absolutely, Jane, and that's where consumer awareness comes in. Reading labels is key. Look for ingredients like artificial colors, FD&C Red 40, BHA or BHT. Opting for whole unprocessed foods is the most direct way to minimize exposure. But it's not always practical for everyone, of course.
That's true. Sometimes you just need a quick snack or a convenience meal. So what about other, less obvious places these petroleum derivatives might show up?
Here's a subtle one. Waxes and coatings. Many fruits and vegetables like apples, cucumbers, and even some citrus are coated with food-grade waxes to extend their shelf life, improve appearance, and prevent moisture loss. While some are natural like beeswax or carnauba wax, others are synthetic, such as paraffin wax. And paraffin wax is a direct byproduct of petroleum refining.
You're kidding me. So when I'm polishing an apple, I could be eating a little bit of petroleum wax? That's unsettling. I always thought it was just the apple's natural sheen or something simple.
Many people do. Again, regulators say these are safe in small quantities, but it does make you think about the extent to which our food is processed and enhanced before it reaches us. Another area to consider is some emulsifiers and stabilizers. Polysorbates, for example, are a class of emulsifiers often found in ice cream, baked goods, and dressings to prevent ingredients from separating. Some of these are synthesized from petrochemicals.
This is starting to feel like a game of find the petroleum derivative. It's everywhere. What about the packaging itself? I know plastics are a big deal, but does that count as in our food?
Excellent point, Jane. While not directly added to food, packaging is absolutely a critical interface. Plastics, almost entirely derived from petroleum, can leach chemicals into our food, especially when heated or when food is fatty or acidic. Think about BPA bisphenol A in some plastic containers or can linings, or phthalates in various plastic wraps and containers.
Yes, I've heard about BPA and trying to avoid it. So even if I'm diligent about buying clean ingredients, if they come in the wrong packaging, I could still be exposed to these things?
Precisely. It's a holistic problem. The interconnectedness of our industrial food system means that petroleum plays a role at multiple stages, from the fuel used to transport food, to the fertilizers and pesticides made from petroleum, to the additives in the food itself, and finally, to the packaging it comes in. It's an intricate web.
It sounds overwhelming, to be honest. Is there any good news? Are there alternatives that companies are using, or is it just the norm?
There absolutely are alternatives, and consumer demand is driving some change. For food dyes, many companies are shifting towards natural colorings derived from fruits, vegetables, and spices. Think beet extract for red, turmeric for yellow, or spirulina for blue. For preservatives, refrigeration, natural antioxidants like vitamin E, tocopherols, or even traditional methods like curing and smoking are used. For packaging, we're seeing more innovation in biodegradable materials or simply less plastic use overall.
That's a relief to hear. So as consumers, our choices really do matter and can influence the market?
They absolutely do, Jane. Every time you choose a product with natural colors over artificial ones, or opt for fresh produce over highly processed packaged goods, you're sending a signal to the industry. It's a slow shift, but it's happening. Look for labels that say no artificial colors, no artificial preservatives, or BPA-free.
And I guess supporting local farmers and farmers markets would be another good step, right? Less processing, less packaging, generally more whole foods.
Spot on. Direct from farm to table often means fewer layers of industrial intervention. It's about being mindful. Not everyone can afford to buy organic everything, or avoid all processed foods, but even small changes like swapping out a brightly colored breakfast cereal for one colored with natural fruit or vegetable extracts can make a difference over time.
It's still astounding to think about, though, the sheer scale of how petroleum-derived products have permeated our food supply. It just shows how deeply integrated the chemical industry is with everything we consume.
It truly is. From fertilizers that grow our crops to the fuel that transports them, to the chemicals that preserve and color them, and the plastics that package them, petroleum is a foundational element of our modern food system. The conversation isn't about demonizing petroleum, but understanding its extensive role and making informed choices about the chemicals we choose to ingest, even indirectly.
I think this conversation has definitely made me more informed and maybe a little more critical, which is a good thing. I'm going to be scrutinizing those labels a lot closer now, especially for those bright dyes and common preservatives.
That's exactly what we hope for. It's not about fear-mongering but empowering listeners with knowledge. The more we understand what's in our food, the better choices we can make for ourselves and our families. Jane, this has been an incredibly enlightening, if slightly unsettling discussion.
Definitely enlightening. Thank you, DONFELIXX, for shedding light on such a hidden aspect of our daily diets. I'm sure our listeners will appreciate this deep dive. My mind is officially bent.
Mine too, Jane, and thank you to all our listeners for joining us today on this journey through the often unseen ingredients in our food. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll catch you next time for more fascinating insights. Take care, everyone.